Hello and a warm welcome to the Result Day live coverage. We've been live since morning, and the latest results and the latest numbers of the Delhi elections look all poised in favor of BJP. In fact, BJP has swept, if I may figuratively call that, BJP has swept off the Aam Aadmi Party's broom and has made a stunning comeback after 27 years. It's almost like a big bang return of the BJP to Delhi. Now, is it the end game of Arvind Kejriwal? If you look at the numbers, and the numbers look like BJP is coming back with a lead of 50 seats and Aam Aadmi Party 20. These numbers are trickling in, the margins are also narrowing, but the latest lead shows that BJP is leading on 50 seats and Aam Aadmi Party is leading on 20. The number of seats which BJP has already won is 37 and Aam Aadmi Party 17. So BJP has already won the number of seats which are way beyond the majority mark, because out of 70 Vidhan Sabha seats, 36 is the magic figure, and BJP has already won 37 seats and is leading on 50 seats. So you can imagine the kind of brute majority which BJP has got. So the big question now is, what happens to Arvind Kejriwal? It is the end game of Arvind Kejriwal. And what happens to Aam Aadmi Party? Is it staring at an existential crisis? Do threats loom on the Punjab government as well? All these are significant questions. We'll try and find out answers to all of them. Joining me now is veteran journalist and political commentator Sharad Gupta. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We have TK Rajlakshmi, senior deputy editor of the Frontline. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi. And I'll begin with Sharad Gupta. Sharadji, how do you really see this result, the stunning comeback of BJP to Delhi after 27 years? But what happens to Arvind Kejriwal from here on? Is the party, that is Aam Aadmi Party, staring at an existential crisis now?
I don't think so, because if you see the vote share, Aam Aadmi Party has got 43.6% and BJP has got 45.8%. So there is just a difference of only 2.2%. So don't go by only the seats, number of seats. Of course, in democracy, Indian democracy, it's first past the post system. So seats matter, not the vote share. But vote share does indicate whether the ground has actually slipped under Aam Aadmi Party's feet. Of course, it has climbed down from its last assembly elections results, but despite that, the difference of just 2.2% vote share is not a big gap which can't be filled. That's one. There, of course, their senior leaders have all lost, but despite that, they have Punjab government in pocket. They have significant presence in Gujarat and some other states. So I don't think everything is not lost for Aam Aadmi Party. Of course, it's a big setback. But now the onus lies more on the BJP, because now they will have to demonstrate what double engine government means for people of Delhi. And if they don't come up to the people's expectations, then the anger is not will not take long to spill on the roads. So all is not lost for Aam Aadmi Party, but they'll have to uh, analyze the reasons for the defeat and come up plan to restructure the party, to resurrect the party.
Right. But Sharatji, don't you think that this bubble of Arvind Kejriwal, or this entire the persona which he had built, that's somewhere down the line now is completely busted?
Of course, I do admit that Aam Aadmi is no more the core theme of Aam Aadmi Party's government. So if a party which was formed on the basis of um, anti-corruption movement, and if it comes to symbolize corruption, One. Secondly, a party which used to say that it wants to be identified with the Aam Aadmi. And that's why they said we won't take bungalows, we won't take car, we won't be bound by government trappings. But ultimately, they did exactly what they refused initially. So I always maintain that the politics in India is right out of George Orwell's Animal Farm. Anybody who forms the government is going to follow what everybody else is doing. So there was no differentiation between Aam Aadmi Party and other parties. What everybody else was doing, Aam Aadmi Party was also doing the same thing. So they lost the tag of party with a difference.
Hmm. Indeed,
So
indeed. So yeah, you're right that they've lost the tag of the party with a difference. But everywhere, Rajlakshmi, and I'll come to you now, that if you look at the media headlines, most of them, by and large, they are underlining one theme, and that is like that BJP has swept, uh, Aam Aadmi Party has conceded defeat, and Congress is in ruins. And what happens to the legacy of Sheila Dikshit, which they try to revive? A lot of questions which need to be asked of the Congress party as well. What do you think so? You'll have to unmute. Rajlakshmi, you'll have to unmute, please. Yeah.
See, I'll first just, in fact, not exact comment, but it's an observation on this thing about a party with a difference. To be fair, it is extremely difficult to survive in this country as a party, with a difference, right? To be a party with a difference, you have to sort of not resort to resources, huge resources that are deployed in elections. To be a party with a difference, you have to you have to resort to candidates who are absolutely unblemished, who have got I mean you've got a perfect record of of public service, right? So the conditions that we put ourselves in front of us um, as voters sometimes, to sort of opt for the party with to be absolutely impeccable on every score, is in fact, I think, becoming increasingly difficult in these times, because the kind of money as well as muscle power that continues to be deployed, and of course the use of agencies, Nehru, that we have seen in these elections and over the past few years, how I mean institutions have been subverted and have been used to sort of benefit certain political parties, or let's say a particular political party, right? So so uh, so when you look at the overall scenario, it is quite difficult to be a party with a difference. I mean, even for instance, the left parties, they find it increasingly difficult, despite being hemmed and being rooted in a firmer ideology, as far as, as compared to the other parties, and an ideology which in fact affirms to the Constitution of India far more than any other party does. I mean, but in spite of that, the fact that the left parties do not use a certain communal rhetoric, that they do not have the kind of resources that the other parties have, they in fact never have a chance of actually sort of coming to power in that sense. So for the Aam Aadmi Party, I think it was just a matter of time where it would have sort of succumb to all those various temptations of power, and also to sort of acquire resources, perhaps not entirely using legal means. Now, in fact, coming to the results, I mean, as Sharad also just said, that the vote share difference is not much. It is just 2.26%, right? So around 40, yeah, 43.62% is what the Aam Aadmi Party has secured as a vote share, as compared to to the BJP's 45.88%. As of now, it might fluctuate a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be all the difference by the end of the day. And the Congress has got some 6.39%. Now, um, uh, 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 now clearly, in fact, Kejriwal, would have won had had Sandeep Dixit not got those 3,800 votes. because Kejriwal has lost by around 3,000 votes. So there are larger questions, and as far as the vote share, as I was saying earlier, also Nilu, in the day, that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to have retained its strength, or its hold over its constituencies, or key constituents, let us say, of the 12 reserved seats in Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party seems to have won, the majority of them, around eight of them at least. I mean, I was going through a count right now, and also its minority candidates have done exceedingly well. I mean, whether it's Silampur, whether Okhla, whether Ballimaran, etc. Right, and also Matia Mahal. I mean, they've secured, so excellent numbers, and winning, with margins like 30,000, 40,000 votes, etc. Okay, so I do not think that the AIM, yeah, I mean, in spite of it, trying to play spoke in the wheel. In Okhla, Okhla, the AIMM candidate lost, and also, in Mustafabad, it did not come, as runner-up. It didn't. It was Aam Aadmi Party that came runner-up. The BJP won the seat, but the AIMM comes in third position. So I think that in spite of all these efforts to dent the Aam Aadmi Party, I think the party has still done, in fact, quite well. In fact, the seats with the smallest number of, margin, with the smallest margins, are actually in the BJP's fold. It's not the Aam Aadmi Party. There's only one seat, perhaps, where the victory margin of the Aam Aadmi Party was 720. Okay, that is a Mehrauli seat. But there are around. I was just looking at the figures. There are at least five seats, where the victory margins for the BJP are under 1,000. The least being 344 seats from Sangam Vihar.
Right.
So, so it's not that, that it's been a complete, decimation of the Aam Aadmi Party in that sense. But yes, it had a tough fight. It was fighting against all odds, and it's also very interesting. All its leaders who went to jail have lost, you know. But you have Gopal Rai who's won, you have Atishi
Yes.
who's won, Saurabh Bharadwaj has won, right? So all those who went to jail, whether it's Mr. Jain, whether it's Mr. Sisodia, or whether Mr. Kejriwal. So so the campaign against them, by the BJP, I think it did sort of succeed to an extent. But even in Sisodia's case, it's an extremely narrow victory. And and Kejriwal's case, as I said, I mean, had Sandeep Dixit not thrown his hat in the fray, that seat would have gone to Kejriwal. So a lot of introspection, I think, needs to be done by those parties who want to put up a non BJP secular front. They have to do some rethinking. Yeah.
Right. So, Sharaji, these 18 or 20 MLAs who seem to have won the election, the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs who have won this time, how difficult is going to be the journey for them to politically survive in a house which has a brute majority of the BJP? Will they be able to put up that kind of a fight? Or gradually, as and when the time passes, BJP will try and merge these MLAs into their own party or allure them or whatever, Operation Lotus. Does this look like a distant possibility, if not immediately?
BJP has already been trying to lure whoever wants to join the BJP, and seven of or maybe eight of the MLAs who had been denied ticket by Aam Aadmi Party have already joined BJP. So you can, it's my guess is as good as yours, whether the elected MLAs will also join suit. Uh, that said, but I think Aam Aadmi Party is going to put up a good fight as an opposition. They'll try to pin down the government, BJP government, at every step. They'll try to question the policies and everything, whatever promises they have made. Delhi government's finances are not very good, and the kind of promises the BJP has made, 2,500 dole to every woman, and all kind of things. So it remains to be seen from where are they going to get all these funds. Is center going to bankroll all these schemes? And if it does, so then um, how is center going to deny the same facilities and same doles to other states? So there are a lot of ifs and buts right now, but the politics of dole, that is, I suppose, I think it's going to cause a lot of problems to the finances of not only the number of state governments, but also the center as well. Means we are still feeding 80 crore people 5 kgs food grain every month, and that is continuing since 2020. So for the last 5 years, the center has already means bonds such a large subsidy, and Ayushman Yojana, that remains to be seen whether center is going to bankroll the same Ayushman Yojana which it has been rolling out in other states, because Aam Aadmi Party did not allow the center's scheme to to be launched in Delhi. That's one thing. And whether mohalla clinics will be sustained, and what will be the fate of schools and colleges Aam Aadmi Party had set up. But one thing is sure, that the infrastructure is going to be strengthened. That I think is one plus. And one more thing I like to point out, that of late, when BJP does is not able to win a state assembly elections, it starts using the governor's office to put up roadblocks in every state. So whether it is N. Ravi in Tamil Nadu, whose case is still being heard in Supreme Court, or Delhi LG, means Delhi LG was acting as a roadblock for everything Aam Aadmi Party was wanting to do. So one thing why Aam Aadmi Party lost is also because they were not able to create a narrative. The only narrative was that if we could not deliver so far because the LG was not allowing us to deliver. So the question is, that people asked, why should we vote you again? Because again, if you form the government, you will keep on blaming the LG all the time, and you will not deliver. So confrontational politics has its limitations, and Aam Aadmi Party needs to understand that. कि झगड़ा करने करने में ठीक है, लेकिन you have to limit your confrontation to a certain extent only. It just
Right.
can't keep on fighting with the LG 24/7, 365 days.
Hmm. No,
So
that's right. That this kind of a confrontation politics doesn't help. But I'm coming back to the big question on Kejriwal. One quick question to you, Raj Lakshmi, and then I'll again come back to Sharaji. That what happens to Arvind Kejriwal now? That phenomena, that big bubble, and that persona which he had built. Uh, what happens to Arvind Kejriwal now? The bubble is almost busted, and what happens to him now? How do we see? Does he become a liability, or is he will he still remain the supremo? What happens? I mean, the internal strife within the party. How do you see that with Kejriwal losing elections? How do you see it?
Well, Nelu, I don't think he's going anywhere as such, because a 43% vote share has been secured on his shoulders, squarely, and of course, also with the assistance of a few of his other leaders. So I think he still is going to be in the reckoning, because I think he provided the leadership, Uh, as and when it was required. He was there. He sort of fought against all odds, which was quite clear to his supporters, who have ultimately, securing around close to 44% of the vote share is not a small thing, and therefore I do not think that he's going to go anywhere, unless of course the whole thing is reopened, the cases against him, and there is some money trail which is finally found, and implicating him in the excess scam, and he's hauled up. So that is a possibility. Then he's out of public life. But as long he's outside, I don't see any reason why he should not take part actively in politics. Who's going to be the LOP in the state assembly? Whether it's Gopal Rai or Atishi, that will be something which I think the party will decide. and and so I think the job is cut out for them for the next 5 years, because
Right.
they are the single largest opposition in the in the state assembly today, right? And the Congress is in nowhere. So it has to perform that function. It has to ensure that all the promises that the BJP has said, that they're going to sort of stick by them. For instance, it's quite possible that the BJP might do, a ladki behna thing that it did in Maharashtra, that they reduce the number of beneficiaries. So it can happen. So all the party needs to do is to be, vigilant on that score, and sort of remobilize. It's got Punjab. I mean, it's got a government running in Punjab. So I don't see any reason why should they, I mean, completely give up, that space, in public, in politics and public life. Yeah.
Right. Right. S. Srinivasan, editor-in-chief of the Federal Group, has also joined us. So, Srini sir, thank you so much for joining. And what we are discussing at this point of time is that with Kejriwal losing, uh, is the party facing an existential crisis? Do you see this as an end game for Arvind Kejriwal now?
Yeah, so you cannot call it as an end game for Arvind Kejriwal. He is quite a smart politician, and he'll use all tricks uh, to come back again, spring back again. Politics, no one ever goes down. It goes out. You can go down for momentarily, and you can come back. So I don't think that's going to happen. But things are going to be pretty difficult for him because he lost the election as well. So what are the possibilities? He's not going to be the leader of opposition, which somebody else, LOP, has to be selected for the assembly. So he has to operate outside. I think his first problem would be to safeguard his MLAs. There are 22 MLAs. There clearly there would be attempts to kind of break in a way that anti-defection law does not kick in. So that's one. So he has to first ensure that the party is held together. And I'm sure second thing is a lot of partymen who left as dissidents. Uh, obviously he has to ensure that again the party is in his control, because so far he has been too powerful and been driven as a one-man show. So he has to now ensure that he holds together the party. So that's another challenge before him. Uh, See, the one thing which comes to him naturally, he's a natural protest leader. He can actually participate in field protest. He, in fact, started as somebody who actually can do a lot of, agitational politics, which comes very naturally to him. So it's also an opportunity for him to rebuild his party by doing that. You know, but of course, it's again not going to be easy because he has to prepare ground for agitation. He has to have enough resources to do that. The other task, he'll have to ensure that what kind of uh, safeguards are made to continue or protect his government in Punjab, because again that's one question which will be you know again in minds of
Yes.
everybody, whether he can keep the government going, because obviously an attempt would be made there also. So his task is cut out, and then he may have to face the heat of the cases also. So all the cases against him could be speeded up. There could be additional charges also brought on him. So he'll have to face all that. So net, it is not going to be an easy situation for him. But in some ways, Aam Aadmi Party, right from the beginning, when it was launched in 2012 onwards, have been in power. It came to power in the shortest duration, and therefore this is their first taste sitting in the opposition. I think it will do good for the party if he has, because he's still very young and he can be in the politics for a long haul. So it's good for him to see the go back to drawing board, and then shed some of his arrogance and come back to face realities. the address which he made immediately, the press conference, or the it was not a press conference, it's just an address, video address which he just made. I just heard. He sounded very humble, and he reiterated what the party started with, that I would like to work. That's where we belong. It's a slightly late realization. Had he kept this in mind all along, he wouldn't have seen this fate. But nevertheless, he is coming late to the party, but I'm sure he will try to do his best. But one
Right.
thing he cannot wish away or write away Arvind Kejriwal. He can spring a surprise or two and try to bounce back into active politics.
Right. But I'll come to the danger looming on the Punjab government. In Charity, I'll come to you that can he keep together his flock now? Arvind Kejriwal, as far as the flock in Delhi is concerned, as far as the people in Punjab are concerned, of course, Punjab elections are not near the, I mean, around the corner. There's still some time for the Punjab elections to be held. But what kind of a challenge is it going to be for Arvind Kejriwal now to keep his men together?
I don't think means his party is going to break so easily. Means earlier he had brute majority, but in any case, Aam Aadmi Party has brute majority in Punjab, and out of 22 MLAs, BJP will need support of at least how many? 12, 14, maybe 13 or 14 MLAs. So it's not difficult. It's not easy to gather support of 14 MLAs to win away 14 MLAs from Aam Aadmi Party, because the party started from scratch, and most of the MLAs, most of the cadre which it has, is with it from the very beginning. But one thing I like to point out, that one of the reasons why Aam Aadmi Party lost is because of a loss of vote share. The party's vote share from last assembly election has come down by almost 10%, whereas BJP's vote share has gone up by 8%. So, although the difference between the two is just 2%, but that 2.2% has played actually a havoc with. But poll percentage varies. In fact, in Odisha, if you see, BJD polled more votes than BJP, and still BJP formed the government, because it won more seats. So that's one. And secondly, uh, what played on what went wrong for Aam Aadmi Party was this image of it being a very, let's say, upmarket, and it's losing the distinction between means the party with a difference. So Aam Aadmi Party used to be a party with a difference, and that it lost, and the charges of corruption and all sort of things. So it lost its way, and the actually one thing why people need a lot of funds to contest elections, because they want to put in a lot of money in campaigning. But why do we need campaigning in small constituencies which BJP has, which Delhi has? Because if you are spending 5 years in your constituency, and constituencies here are very small, say a lakh or maybe 60,000, 70,000 population. So you can meet and greet each and every person once every month. So that you can do 60 days, 60 times during 5 years. So it's not that difficult. And if you are campaigning regularly, if you are meeting your supporters every single day, so there's no point you are going to lose. But just because the MLAs once elected don't go back to their uh, supporters till the next election comes. So that is why they need a lot of funds to campaign. So if you are in regular touch with your supporters and your constituents, you don't need a lot of funds to to contest an election. So that is one thing Aam Aadmi Party needs to underline and prove that you don't need a lot of funds. And that is how it has to devise a strategy to bring those things into play.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Srinisa is back. Srinisa, now? How easy or difficult is it going to be for the BJP now to govern Delhi? And obviously, it has to demonstrate a lot in terms of the governance. The fingers which they had pointed so far on Aam Aadmi Party, now they won't be able to do that. But what kind of challenges do you really see for the BJP? And if I may say, some immediate challenges which you see for BJP in Delhi. Yes, Shinisa?
Yeah, so you're asking me what are the kind of challenges
Yes.
BJP?
Challenges, some immediate challenges for the BJP which you see in the coming weeks.
Yeah, so one of the major thing is they have made huge promises. If you see, it's not going to be easy to clean Delhi of its pollution. The air pollution is the perhaps one of the first thing they may have to handle. You know, even if they say the farmers are responsible, which I think is not entirely true, there are a whole lot of other things. They may have to rejig or do something for the Delhi's roads, which are full of vehicles. How are they going to handle that is going to be a big question. So they have made their promises. What is going to be challenging is how they're going to keep it. Second is cleaning river Narmada is again not going to be an easy task. Its years of neglect have reduced that river to almost a dead stream, uh, which only fills up only during monsoon once in a while. So that's going to be another big challenge. The third biggest challenge is, Delhi is become totally ungovernable because of, there are so many multiple agencies working. There is one MCD, there is one NDMC, then there is, LG. Though it's all, right now, I think the municipal corporation is the Aam Aadmi Party, but the remaining things are in the hands of BJP. But multiplicity of authorities, one running into each other, it's actually quite a governance mess. So I think another thing is they want to sort it out. And, intuitively, if you see the government, how much of freedom or independence, if since we are federal, if you have to look at from the point of view of whether the state, whichever form it is, it's not a full-fledged state. How much of autonomy the chief CM is going to have? How much of maneuverability he is going to have? Is he going to run instead of LG? Will he be now running to Raisina Hill, to the Home Ministry, or is going to go somewhere? We don't know. Delhi requires someone who's, in some sense, a large sense mayor who runs the city. And it's a very aspirational city. It's a city which gives people opportunities, jobs. It has a huge floating population. Whole lot of people come from neighboring states to work and go back. Also, law and order is another issue. It shares border with Haryana, one side, on the other side with Uttar Pradesh. Now, none of the reasons which earlier, BJP could give, it can give. Other is you have a huge mountains of garbage which is facing Delhi. How are they going to clean up? After raising all the expectations now, the time is now for BJP to deliver in Delhi. And I think it's not going to be an easy task.
Right. All right. So, Rajlakshmi, I'll come to you now for the concluding comments. So, this battle of Delhi is over almost, and the results are out for everyone to see what it is. And currently, the numbers which we see: BJP leading on 48 seats, Aam Aadmi Party 22, and BJP has already won 40 seats. The number of seats which BJP has won is 40, and Aam Aadmi Party 18. So, what would you really say towards the end now, as far as this battle is concerned?
Well, first of all, it has to find a credible face to be the chief minister, and
True.
whether Jhandelwala, Nagpur, or the BJP central leadership decide on whoever that face will be, I think remains to be seen. And since there was no name which was projected, it could well be, uh, uh, I mean, a dark horse or something to the effect. As far as the challenges are concerned, the first thing they have to deliver on is statehood. Promise that they made when they first came to power in Delhi, and and which is still hanging. I mean, they've been in power for the last 10 years, continuously, and again for a third term. At the center, they should have made good this promise. Irrespective of who led the government in Delhi, and of course, one challenge that they are not going to have is the LG creating roadblocks for them. So that is quite clear on that front. There's no challenge anticipated on that score at least. But other things they'll have to make good on all those promises, whether it's to do for housing for the poor, which they have said, because land comes under the center, and now they can't say that that we don't have DDA, etc. So they have to make good on that. Crimes, etc. If crimes against women go up, it's going to be again their thing, because law and order in any case was under the center, and now it's going to be the double engine will have to ensure that is at bay. And then all these various things that they've said, that 2,500 for women, who knows, they might just cut down the list of beneficiaries tomorrow, just like.
Absolutely. And there are several instances in Maharashtra where there are complaints that they didn't deliver on the promises. Sure.
Yeah.
So, but one bit which we forgot to discuss. Yes, Sharaji, you, yeah. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to chip in on the possible chief ministerial candidate from BJP. So
Okay.
there are two names which I can propose right now. Propose, or maybe that's my deduction. One is
Hmm.
Parvesh Verma because he is a giant killer one. Secondly, if they make a Jat chief minister, so that sends a message not only to Jats in Delhi but also to Jats in Rajasthan, Haryana, and
Hmm.
UP, that we have not neglected Jats, and since Jats are not very happy with the BJP for last few years, that's one thing. Secondly, the other person I can think of is Dushyant Gautam. He is a Dalit, and Amit Shah during the campaigning has questioned Aam Aadmi Party that it keeps on seeking Dalit votes, but it's not made any Dalit a chief minister. So
Right.
maybe if they appoint a Dalit as chief minister, so in that case they will be giving a reply, rather fitting reply to all pro-Dalit forces, including Congress, means which has been harping on Ambedkar's um, insult by
Right.
Amit Shah and all.
Mhm.
So I
Quite
think
possible.
these are the two names I can think of.
Right. Right. And one bit which we, yes, Rajlakshmi, and then I'll, yeah.
Just a small thing to add on, because in spite of these overtures made, by Amit Shah during the campaign, the SCs, the Dalits, have not really voted for the BJP. So I mean, at least of the number of seats that we know, the majority have been won by the Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
But still, Sharad, it's quite possible that they might go for a phase from the Dalits precisely for this reason. I mean, as a
Right, but also the Jat angle we cannot discount because there are about
yeah,
10 seats, the Jat seats, which BJP has managed to win. So there is a factor in what Sharaji is saying. But one quick point from Chini sir, that there is another subplot in the constituency of New Delhi from where Sandeep Dixit had fought elections against Arvind Kejriwal. And it almost looks like a sense of deja vu because it's the same constituency where Arvind Kejriwal defeated Sheila Dikshit. And years later, Sandeep Dikshit has managed to, really cut down on the votes of Arvind Kejriwal. I was just looking at a data which is very, very interesting. And I'll just decode that a bit. And that says that Kejriwal has lost to Mr. Verma by a margin of 4,089 votes. And Sandeep Dikshit managed to win 4,568 votes and finished a distant third. So if the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress had contested this election together, maybe Arvind Kejriwal would have likely scored a slim victory. But this didn't happen. So what does one say about Sandeep Dixit at this point of time, just before we end the program? Yes, Srini sir.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you're saying, but the difference, what difference between the swing against Aam Aadmi Party is about 10%. Out of that, 8% has gone to BJP and about 2% has gone to Congress Party. Incrementally, if you see, Congress Party has gone up from 4.7 and added another, I think 1.8 or 2%. And you cannot say that whether by adding a simple arithmetic, that if you had to add these votes to Aam Aadmi Party, maybe they would have reduced the vote share difference between BJP and themselves, and therefore there would have been little chance of this thing being contained. Well, one is to do mathematics this way, but really you don't know how the chemistry would have worked on the ground. One really don't know how it would have translated on the ground, and whether the cadres have worked together, whether they would have helped each other. One doesn't know. That's one factor. Second is here, I don't know how much of in a constituency like New Delhi constituency. From what you're saying, is it's clear that the number of votes which Sandeep Dixit polled and the number with which the margin with which Kejriwal lost, probably it is. I think it's almost equal or more.
Similar.
So again, it's a mathematical one. I'm sure even Sandeep benefited from his mother's legacy, and some of those votes could be because of that as well. So you cannot generalize saying that since if they had gone to face the elections together, maybe they would have won. I doubt. If the vote share of Congress was more than this, if they have made a substantial gain and all across, maybe then you can draw such a conclusion. I really don't know. One has to further look at what has been the real numbers.
Right, right. And news now trickling in that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address the party workers at around 5:30 at the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Marg, and that's the ritual after every elections, after every victory, he does that. And so the time is 5:30. That's a time when he is going to address the party workers. I'm sure this will be a speech which is going to be bigger and bigger than what we have seen, looking at the scale of the victory, which is seen in Delhi. So let's wait and watch as to what the Prime Minister has to say this evening. Thank you so much. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much.
I think, Neelu, just 1 minute. I think Mr. Sharad and Rajalakshmi wanted to say something about, this is a very important question. What would have happened if the two parties have gone to poll together?
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. I wanted to say one thing, that elections are not about mathematics, they are more about chemistry. So two and two are always not four in politics. So if Mr. Sandeep Dixit got 4,500 votes, that doesn't mean that he got all the votes from Aam Aadmi Party, or if he had not contested, all the 4,500 votes would have gone to Aam Aadmi Party. So that's one thing. And as far as the Prime Minister's thing is concerned, I just wanted to say one thing. Delhi is not even a proper assembly; it's a city government. And if Prime Minister is going to address the party workers and he's going to rejoice, means this is not such a big thing. It's not that the BJP has won 67 out of 70 seats or 62 out of 70 seats. But every victory is a victory, and
right. So you are saying the Prime Minister could have stayed away. You are saying the Prime Minister could have stayed away from addressing the workers today.
Yes, by this trend, the Prime Minister may well go to the party office and celebrate at every victory, if in a municipal corporation also.
Okay. Yeah. Rajlakshmi, I think you also
Yeah.
wanted to make a point.
No,
Yes.
I said this earlier that there were at least five or six seats, where the victory margins of the BJP have been under 1,000 votes. So had a third factor not been there on those seats, it's quite possible that those margins, that it would have been easier for the arm of the party to perhaps sort of win on those five odd six odd seats also. And there are, I think, close to around 30 odd seats where the BJP has won more than 10,000. So which means on the remainder seats it has been less than 10,000 of a vote margin. Of course, we have to see how much has the Congress really got. We know the vote shares, but in terms of the numbers, we have to look at every seat. And it's only on one seat, as I said, that it has come as runner up. That is the Kasturba Nagar seat. So on all the other seats, it has come in third position only. Now the Aam Aadmi Party's, in fact, coming up, rise to power has been sort of solely on the basis of the section of the electorate, that the Congress represented. So that has been the Congress's biggest grouse, that the Aam Aadmi Party took away our voters, essentially 10 years ago, and therefore we have to, reclaim it. Okay, but after that, many things have happened. The India Alliance was formed. There was a common understanding that there's a need to keep the BJP out because of institutional subversion, because of various other things, and because the opposition itself was feeling extremely helm-dead, and the way various governors etc. have been conducting themselves, in the non-BJP ruled states. So since that understanding was there, in the Lok Sabha elections, one just felt, that it would have been a little appropriate to work out something on these lines. And after the Lok Sabha, there has not been a single meeting of the India bloc. A meeting that the Congress is supposed to convene as being the largest constituent of that group. So I think that something could have been worked out. And
Right.
since I said that the vote shares of the Aam Aadmi Party are quite good, in spite of this, in spite of the things, in spite of the odds being stacked against them, uh, essentially. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll end it there. Thank you so much, Sharaji, Raj Lakshmi, Srinisa. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.